Alright, so on this one, I want to talk about multi-dimensional realities, alternate realities, multi-reality kind of stuff. I know I've mentioned it at some time or another, but it's basically just like this idea that they've had for years, way before I or many people were watching were in existence. But it was the idea, that there's multiple realities, that there's different realities of where we're at. Starting at just being a slight bit different to being really out there, as though the possibilities are endless. Every little action you make is another little step towards another reality. You could have made a different action, and that's a different reality. I know there's a really thick field of science, physics, and whatnot, observations behind this. Well, it's just interesting, all over interesting subjects to what I've watched on stuff before. But the idea is really there, like between everything that's the possibility through science or just science fiction and whatnot. The possibility is really there. So so the thing that's with this in my own inner experience is like, because the beginning of this, it was really like the idea of like another reality. Like there's another reality, and there's someone from that reality trying to communicate with me. The idea was really there, that one day I could possibly wake up in another reality, possibly as myself, or possibly as myself in this body, but somehow teleported to that place where everything's almost the same, or I'm another person of that reality. So these are all the possibilities that come with that. The most realistic would probably be that I'm another person from that reality, but it's still kind of left it open here and there that somehow, some way, through some unknown alien sequence, you could be yourself teleported to that reality where, like I said, everything could be the same or it could be different. But you're in the Earth. You're on the Earth nonetheless, where oxygen is your source of life and whatnot. Anyway, anyways, so within these realities, there's this idea that, like, little by little something's different. But sometimes within this experience, it was really different. To say like history was shifted around a little bit, but people like myself, this world, it's something of this world kind of still existed. Like it was still what they would call a modern world, but it was different because it seems as though like things were just different in history, but somehow, some way, certain technology would have existed somehow at some point. It might have been different on how they set it up, but like something was just off and different on like how technology would have existed, but it could have still existed in some way or another. So that's interesting observation, depending on what it is. So, there's certain places where, and I can never fully uncover the full history. It's just different. It's different enough to say that history was different, and people are in a modern world, but it has like a stranger, like I don't want to say pagan background, but if it was definitely like there was definitely a lot of beings pointing all to like some center master being still, but it was recognized more something closer to paganism. But it still seemed like a world kind of like this one, and things still existed kind of the same way. Like there was lights and computers of sorts. The computer would be very limited on what it could do. Like it would only be able to process certain stuff. Like in here, I could have like 6 or 7 screens up, 6 or 7 tabs up, and on my computer, and you can't do that the same way on other realities. And other alien realities, the computers are different, but they're there in some way or another. Information is there in the world to look up, but it's not the same as having, like I said, like 5 or 6 tabs up at one time and being able to do all that. That's just something we can do here, which is interesting. But yeah, like this other realities where like technology is there, it's different. Their history is there, but it's different. They seem to have always been an early idea of mine before most of anything else, honestly. Before like the alien gods and all this other stuff that it kind of, and the realities with them and whatnot, that it fed to me over time. The idea of just like an alternate reality, uh, and being just a slight bit different or really different. Were there was certain realities where I would wake up in a weird thing, like I'd be in my house, but I said I was the only child, and I'd be in my house, and I'd be the sister, and another person would have been the brother. It was weird. Something like that was a part of this experience, where it was just strange. It would feed little ideas like that to me sometimes, and then it would talk about, oh yeah, that reality was there. There's another reality where I'm just me, but it's like the world and the government and everything is just like slightly different. Like something just happened all overnight at some point in your youth, your infancy maybe, and just changed everything. Yeah, so like I said, like the world where I'm there, it seemed like they tried to make it where the internet was never released to the public. It was never opened. It was never there. Something actually put its foot in the way and never let people have the internet. So imagine a world developing to this point with no internet. And internet, believe me, when it comes to the interest of everything, of just sharing your life and your interest and conspiracies and everything, it's been a big tool. It's been a bit of a weapon if you're into conspiracies and whatnot, because I don't know how people would be talking about that as much in an alternate reality where internet never was allowed to be released to the public. So that's like I said, that's my just own interest in certain things within the idea of multi reality. Yeah, I just keep calling it multi-dimensional, but some people call it multi-dimensional, but some people refer to like dimension, in the certain levels of existence and vibration. So I try not to really just call it as multi-dimensional. So multi-dimensional could mean something else. But you get the idea of what I'm talking about, obviously, if you're watching this, alternate realities. And so there could be the idea of like, we're inside of a bubble. Like the entire cosmos, as we observed it, that they have observed it with all the technology and whatnot they have now. They see like the edges where it becomes like a hot plasma or something like that, and it's so hot, like it's like, it's like the time scale with like the edge of the universe is like at the very beginning or something like that. It's interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've watched stuff on it before. I just don't really retain the information as well as others on like the science behind some of this stuff. But anyways, there is always that theory and the idea that we are just inside of a bubble inside of a bubble, and so we're just inside of one reality next to somewhere another reality where, and it could be an entire infinite ocean of realities that we're inside of, and everything's just completely different, uh, and it's off and it's over. Something's just something, the sequence of the stars is different, and so life here was different but the same somehow. So it's just interesting stuff like that could just be out there, and the possibility and whatnot of everything. And like I said, I could just sit here for hours and just dream about the idea of that, and then it just goes on and on and on. And what an amazing idea, life in the universe, no matter what they can observe, no matter what the astrophysicists and scientists observe, it just goes on and 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 on, and there's no stop. Once you see past the barriers of this reality. So then it's just interesting because it's just like, we're in an infinite ocean of just this reality, the universe, and things just will keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper as you go further. I really honestly can see it like that, but I'm still a very open individual in my own journey to okay, well, there's just reality. Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's part of the idea of reality. There's just this moment, So that again is why I don't just argue with the idea of there's just this reality. Now, life in the universe as it is, there's definitely something greater than our own existence out there in the universe, and there's definitely a deep explanation for it. But you know, I think it'll all come together one day for everyone, including myself. Um, but we're lifetimes away from it at full clicking fully for everyone, and even myself. So, but like I said, just the idea that there's all these different realities out there in my own experience, and this thing always fed that to me. Although it said there was still an edge of the universe, there's still the idea that there's other realities where we're just in a bubble, as they say. Um, and I just couldn't doubt it. I really think that there's a great possibility of that. But where am I going here with all of this? Just simply that my own experience itself has this, and has always had this idea of multiple realities being there, and that there's an explanation for everything and whatnot. And yeah, that's it. And like I said, years of dreaming, and that's been it. So yeah,